Hello, everybody. I'm still Harvey Silverman, welcoming you to another session, another episode of NGCOA Golf Business Live Tech Talks. Today, we're going to talk about talking. We're going to communicate about communicating because we have with us the sales manager of Relay, a remarkable new technology for communicating with your team across a property and replacing the old style two-way radios and walkie-talkies. Michael Bremer, sales manager from Relay. Welcome to Tech Talks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Harvey.
So let's start with this. Tell us a little bit about how your technology compares to what golf courses have used for decades, the two-way radios or walkie-talkies that came out of armed forces use back as late as World War I. What are you doing today that's so remarkably different from what so many people are carrying around on their belts right now?
It's pretty crazy to think about that walkie-talkies have been around since World War I, World War II. The technology with walkie-talkies hasn't changed much over the years, and our goal here at Relay is to provide a solution that those who are traditionally using walkie-talkies are familiar with. So we have that traditional push-to-talk technology. And it's easy to use, easy to carry around, easy to implement. And it gives that familiar push to talk. But the big differentiator is we work off of all three major cellular carriers in the country, as well as Wi-Fi. We have a wall in our office of about 80 patents. And we have this technology that's called bonding. And what that allows you to do is be connected to all three major carriers in Wi-Fi at once, and you're going to utilize the fastest and strongest signal. So whether you're just a 18-hole public course or a larger club, 700, 800 acres, and you need to be able to communicate off all across the grounds, you'll be able to do that. We have nationwide coverage with Relay.
So your system isn't tied to one particular cell provider. It's not like I know that when Tag Marshall goes out to set up a course, they're doing a test around the entire facility to test cell strength, and then they choose the cell provider that has the strongest signal across the property when they set up their system. What you just said is you're using all of them simultaneously, and your system finds the strongest signal that could be different from one end of the property to the other?
That's correct. So, and there's no additional infrastructure in place here compared to traditional walkie-talkies, where you may have to have an FCC license to eliminate interference. You may have to have a repeater on site to extend the range of your walkie-talkies. Right. There's no additional infrastructure here. We're utilizing those cellular carriers. So let's say the GM is in the clubhouse. They want to be able to communicate out to a ranger that's at the hole that's farthest away from the clubhouse. The GM may be working off of Wi-Fi, where the starter out on hole 11 is utilizing AT&T. As they come in on hole 4, maybe they switch from AT&T to Verizon. That bonding technology is going to allow you to jump from one carrier to another seamlessly. And so there's no switching that, no manual switching that needs to take place. You wouldn't realize it's happening.
Wow, that's remarkable. So what you called it a bonding technology, and it's that technology that integrates all those different components, the three cellular and the Wi-Fi, to be used, switched seamlessly from one to the other, depending on where the strongest signal is.
That's correct.
That's remarkable. So going through your website, you've got a number of different hardware devices. One that looks a little newer than the other, but again, kind of describe for us the hardware that you're putting in place, both personal and anything that's more infrastructure based?
Yeah, real quick, can I grab one?
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. There you are.
Yeah. So, so as far as infrastructure, again, infrastructure's pretty limited. We have really one main piece of hardware. That is your relay device. This is the push-to-talk device. It's extremely lightweight. We're talking about the weight of a deck of cards. It is the size of a Post-it note, really thin. And there's 4 buttons. You'll notice there's no protruding antennas on this that you have to worry about. You drop it, it breaks. You have the main push-to-talk button in the middle. There's 3 other buttons, volume up, volume down, and then what we call our magic button, that's relay assistant, that allows you to change channels and do a lot of other cool things. So there's that piece of hardware. And the other piece of hardware that you may notice on our website are Bluetooth beacons, which allow you to do indoor location tracking. So some of our clubs, typically larger clubs that may include dining, resorts, hotels, they may want to map out their indoor footprint to be able to increase operational efficiency to get to guest or member requests. So really, those are the 2 main pieces of hardware that we're looking at here at Relay.
Okay. How many of those devices can operate on a particular piece of property? Is it limited to 50 or 100, or is it unlimited?
How many do you need? It's unlimited. So a lot of our golf club clients, I would say on average, they're your local public course, or just kind of smaller private 18-hole club that doesn't offer a lot of other amenities. You're probably looking at somewhere between 12 to 20 users total. So that'd be 12 to 20 relay devices. But that scales all the way up to 50 to 100 users, depending on the club. That's a really neat thing about Relay, is that we can scale based on the club and the club's needs and other amenities. Virginia Country Club that offers a lot of additional amenities, fitness, dining, aquatics, racket clubs. Obviously they scale up compared to local par 3 club here in my area. That's a client, Knights Play, just basic communication needs, and they're using 10 to 12.
You mentioned something before about beacon devices that can be used indoors. Do you have anything like that can work outdoors?
Well, there's actually built-in GPS location tracking in the actual relay device itself. So we can do outdoor location tracking. So real quick, let me back up a second. This device is military spec. We've drop tested this from 3 stories. We've run it over with golf carts. You can submerge this in up to 5 feet of water for 30 minutes, take it out, shake it off, and it keeps working. So it's built to be outside on the grounds. But inside of this device is similar to what you would find in a cell phone. So there's antenna, but this also has GPS location tracking inside of it. And what our clients have is access to, we're a software company. So this communication solution is backed by software. And so our clients have access to a dashboard online and from a mobile app for admin users to where they would be able to pull up a map and see where the relays are located around the course, which comes in handy for your starters. It comes in handy for a beverage cart. It can come in handy for caddies. So there's a lot of different use cases for the GPS location tracking, but that's built in. It comes with the devices, no additional hardware. The beacons itself that you install indoors, that's for more granular level location tracking.
Okay, got it. So as you've worked with a number of different clubs and types of clubs and sizes of properties and so on. What have you seen as the major communication trouble spots that would convince owners and operators that they need to make a change from what they're doing now to what you're doing?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. There's a lot there. Again, we want to be the easiest vendor our clients work with. Our clients, when they come on board, they stay with us year over year, which is just a testament to our product and development and engineering team here, as well as our operations team that's helping to support our clients. And a lot of clubs are just looking for a better solution. We don't know what we don't know. We're so used to walkie-talkies. We don't know what else is out there. Mm-hmm. There's the challenge of dealing with just cell phones or smartphones and tablets that are not durable. You're tied to a single cellular carrier. They're a headache to manage IT-wise. And so we want to provide just an easy to use solution for communications that's reliable, so that you're not having to worry about it breaking and replacing it. So we talk about that total cost of ownership when it comes to walkie-talkies. Walkie-talkies can range from, maybe you're ordering them off of Amazon and spending a few $100s for a pack of 10, all the way up to, some clubs out there that are using walkie-talkies that are $500 to $1,000 plus. And when one of those breaks and you need to replace it, there's cost behind that as well. So sure. Just be able to use that, have a solution that's durable, that you can trust, that offers that nationwide range, so you're not going to have to worry about those dead spots. Eliminate the hassle of having to replace devices, maintain a repeater. And then on top of that is the opportunity to do things like location tracking and more of that operational intelligence that we've talked a little bit about.
One of the things I saw on your website, which intrigued me, were your safety alerts, your ability to send, instant alert about a safety issue, or somebody out in the field, a maintenance person, for instance, whose mower's tipped over, can send a safety alert, I guess. Tell us a little bit more about the safety alerts and how those get identified and communicated across the local network.
Yeah. So, there's, different types of panic situations that can happen. But really the way that I think about this is incident management. So whether that range from a serious panic situation, like a medical event that may occur out on a course, down to, you mentioned somebody, utilizing grounds equipment that needs attention. I know there's a lot of technology in place at clubs to alert, for weather alerts. So we could supplement what's already, clubs are already doing, but maybe also offer a better option just for workflow and incident management. So again, this is built into the solution. So when you push the talk button rapidly, what's going to happen? It's going to trigger a panic alert or incident alert. Mm-hmm. And I'll kind of categorize these here pretty shortly. Once that trigger is initiated, everybody that's part of that response team, call it panic response, incident response, is going to be pulled into a channel together. Now they're able to communicate. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's take that a step further. Let's say it is indoors and, the club is utilizing our indoor location tracking. It's not only going to pull everybody together into a channel that needs to be in that channel to respond, but it also is going to have a location included with that, meaning it's going to tell you who triggered that panic alert as well as where that person is located. And we can get all the way down to an individual room level if your club also has, guest rooms, your resorts and your hotels. So the way I look at this, you can think of it as panic response, right? Medical emergencies. You can also think of it as other types of incidents, whether that's weather related, grounds related, facilities related. So you can have different types of workflows set up depending on what the event is and who needs to be part of the response team.
Wow, that's that's interesting and pertinent, especially today where insurance rates continue to rise and insurers are asking more pertinent questions about safety and how courses are managing both safety on the front end and incidents on the back end. And so that's interesting what you're doing. That's certainly, I would think, much more effective and immediate than the use of two-way radios or walkie-talkies, where you're hoping that somebody on the other end is listening as you're.
Well, yeah, and you know, that again, reliable communications, knowing that it's going to work wherever you're at around the club.
Mm-hmm.
You bring up a really interesting point on insurance. We were talking to a general manager of a club over the last couple of weeks who brought that up and being able to present this to their insurance provider. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, that's great. We love the fact that that's part of the thought process for the clubs that we support.
Did that presentation to the insurance provider provide a difference in how the insurance provider was looking at the facility and scoping out the quotes and so on? Did that make a difference for the operator?
Exactly, right. They want to know what types of solutions and protocols they have in place for incident management, and based on what they have in place, that can impact their premiums.
Excellent. One of the intriguing things I found on your site was the ability for your system to include a translation option, which just kind of blew me away, because I think I read that you can translate 30 languages. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. This is one of the coolest things that my team gets to present to our clients. It also talks about the power of being software based as well. So I'll share a little bit about that. But yeah, you're correct. Over 30 different languages can be translated. Relay could be used as a pocket translator. We've had that for a while now. The way that would work is I speak into this device in English, and then it could come back out in Spanish, Mandarin, Italian, whatever it may be.
Hebrew?
Say that again?
You do Hebrew?
Hebrew, I believe so. We have, I could pull up the 30 plus different that we have.
We don't need to go through all of them, but that's, yeah. I mean, 30, I mean, even, 10 or 15 would cover just about anything that a golf course would face with staff and even customers. But 30, wow, it's impressive. Okay, so I'm sorry. So keep going. I just had to ask about Hebrew because, hey, I'm Jewish and it's the high holidays coming up, and I thought, hey, not many people can translate Hebrew, but boy, if you can do it, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I could follow up with you on that, but yeah, so there's the pocket translator, and then something that our product team recently released over the last few months is called Team Translate. And what Team Translate, what you're able to do is you're able to set language profiles on the device itself. So all this is controlled with access to the dashboard online. And so I could set my devices, let's say, groundskeeper that speaks Spanish and somebody at the clubhouse that works in dining speaks a different language and I speak English. We can set those language profiles to the device and for that user. And so what happens is I speak into this device in English, but it comes out of that, that employee's device in their native language. Wow. And what's so cool about this, I get super excited about it, is Now you're empowering your employees. Maybe it's an employee that, they were an ESL, they're an ESL employee, and they don't feel comfortable and confident trying to speak, English.
Mhm.
So it empowers them to be able to communicate, knowing they can use their native language, and it's coming out to the other devices in whatever language, is my native language. It also helps with employee satisfaction, employee retention, and it also can potentially open up the labor market for your clubs to be able to go out and hire, staff members where, again, maybe English isn't their native language.
Okay, so I can cross out that question that I was going to ask about whether, do my little John Stewart thing here, whether that potentially can help a golf course widen the labor pool possibilities by being able to tell people, hey, look, whatever language you speak, we've got you covered, whether it's Spanish or Mandarin, or different Spanish dialects, or whatever that is. We've got you covered. That's a great point. And again, that was my next question. So thank you for answering that first.
Yeah.
At the NGCOA, we have every type of golf course imaginable, from little pitch and putt and par threes, and or multi-course 36, 54, 72 hole facilities, high-end resorts, as you've we talked about before. You have some on your client list, including, I think, Pinehurst. So as you're approaching a potential client, or a client calls you and says, hey, we're interested, what can you do for us? How do you adjust your services to meet the needs of each of those different types of clubs, of golf facilities?
Yeah, great question. And we range from working with, local munis up to some of the largest, most premier private clubs in the country. And so, let's say it's, Knights Play Golf Center in Apex, North Carolina, which is a par 3 course. They have 27 holes. They have lights out there. It's an awesome place. Kevin and his wife run that. And they came on board with Relay, really just looking for just basic communications. But they were a club that purchasing radios from Amazon. And again, nothing wrong with that, but it's the reliability, it's the durability. And over time, we can get frustrated with the hassle of having to replace those. And so, whether it's 10 users or 100 users, we can scale based on if you need basic communications all the way up to location tracking, being able to translate languages. We can fit the needs depending on what your need is as a club.
Okay. And so within that, and I don't want to get into your pricing structures specifically, but is it a per device fee? Is it a subscription fee? Is it a lease? I mean, how does your system lay out when an operator is saying, okay, how much is this all going to cost me? Don't have to be specific about how much it is. Just how does that lay out in terms of your business plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a one-time hardware cost on the Relay devices, and additional hardware, whether that's beacons for indoor location tracking, accessories like lanyards or belt clip cases, earpieces, things like that. That hardware is a one-time cost. Once you buy it, you own it. We have warranties to go along with our hardware as well. And then there is the reoccurring subscription costs, being that it's software, being that that takes care of the cellular connection. It takes care of the access on a mobile app or a dashboard online. And then, like we talked about, the ability of being able to consistently release enhancements into our solution because we are software based. Mm-hmm. The other thing that goes into being one of the easiest vendors our clients work with is that not only is it we're providing them a great solution, we work with them every step of the way to get implemented and then post implementation. That includes our customer success team that helps our clients get up and running. It also includes ongoing support. So when our clients need something, they can reach out to our support team right here in Raleigh, North Carolina, call, email us, get access in your dashboard, in your account. and we'll be there to continuously support you as well.
So you must have some type of training program then, so that each employee who's going to be carrying one of your devices can understand how to use it and use it quite easily, right?
Yeah. So that's a great question. Let's talk a little bit about implementation, because sometimes the fear of especially when we, change management, software, sometimes we have the fear of what is it going to take me to get up and running? We can get our clients up and running in the matter of a couple weeks, depending on what their timeline is. The devices themselves, they come to our clients already activated. They're connected right out of the box. From there, we have an awesome online learning management system that our clients have access to. So they can take their time in going through those videos to get trained. And from there, typically it's kind of like train the trainer. But we're talking about 4 buttons, and 2 of those are volume up and down. It's literally just naming devices, naming the channels, and then, hey, how do I get access to my channels? And I just hit this button and talk. So, typically I would say from, to be fully up and running operationally with Relay, we typically say about 30 days, but we can shorten that down to a couple weeks depending on what our clients' timelines are.
Okay. All right. Good. Maybe one last question. You have a passive data collection system. Again, what I saw on your website. What types of data are you collecting, and how can that data, how is that assimilated to enabling the golf course operator to better run their operation? Or what's that data revealing that an operator can look at and grab and say, okay, this is what I need to change, or this needs to be improved, or hey, we got this perfect?
Yeah, so let's talk about basic communication, because we're doing verbal communication. That is not lost data right there. You have access in the dashboard in the mobile app to see message history. So, if I want to go back, maybe I missed a message, or I just want to go back and see what the day-to-day communication is, I can go into my message history. I can read a text thread of those messages, or I can go in and replay those messages. So you have access to that information. Location tracking has been huge to increase operations productivity. So knowing where my people should be, when they should be there, whether it's a starter making their way around the club, beverage cart making their way around the course, or how we're operating inside of our clubhouse, our dining room, guest requests, member requests, and seeing how quickly we can get to those to make sure we have great, guest member satisfaction. So having access to message history, having access to see where your Relay users are, where they're located, how long they've been there. That's all information and data that you would have access to make, operational decisions. And then let's go back to the incidents, having that information stored as well. So when a panic alert is triggered, we're going to store that information. We're going to store the communication that went along with that incident. We're also going to store who triggered it, and also what was done to resolve that incident. So all that information is stored for you to have access to.
That has to be a huge help, because usually, not usually, but too often, some type of incident is going to trigger a legal action of some type. So having that information available through your system, through those devices, has to be a huge help for the operator to turn over to their legal representative and say, look, here's what we did, here's what happened, here's the whole trail of how that incident occurred and how it was resolved.
Yeah. And then I also want to go back and, some of the trends that we've seen in golf clubs over the last couple of years, obviously the opportunity to increase revenue. And there's a lot of things that are being done there in clubs throughout the country, whether it's indoor golf simulators for people to come in and play on rainy days or cold off season. Obviously, food and beverage is really a big opportunity to increase revenue. Apparel, another big opportunity. Every club I go to, I'm always picking up a polo. And what we've seen from these clubs is an increase in communication. So the ability to communicate anytime, anywhere on the club leads to opportunities to increase revenue, whether that's from F&B, apparel, and other opportunities on the club.
Got it. Excellent. Anything else that we haven't covered? These are we give you the last chance, the last word on something that maybe we didn't think of talking about, or that you think we may have missed. That's an important element to Relay and what you're providing and how you are marketing this to golf course operators.
Yeah, and I want to thank all of our clients in clubs out there. We are a company, being that we're software based, and we really lean on our clients to get feedback from them. Daniel Lowe at Frenchman's Creek has been an awesome advocate for Relay. He was at Wycliffe in Florida. They were one of our original Relay clients back in, I believe, 2020. And they share feedback with us. And in turn, we take that feedback, we share it with our product team, and then we go make enhancements in our product. So the fact that we have Team Translate and being able to translate over 30 languages, right? Like that is feedback from our clients. And then we get to see that impact with them. I know Frenchman's Creek and a lot of other clubs are utilizing geofencing. So what happens when you lose a walkie-talkie? Can you find it? Well, with Relay, there's you can set up a geofence around your club, and then if a Relay device goes outside of that, you can be notified. Also, if somebody did lose a Relay around the course, like I've lost my cell phone before, you're able to find out where this is by pulling up a map, and you can also ping it, and it will make a noise so you can find it. So whether it's basic communication or you're looking for additional opportunities that traditional communications just doesn't offer, we can scale with you based on those needs.
Excellent. Mike Bremer, sales manager from Relay. Thank you. This was a very thorough, I think, look at Relay, what it's doing, how it's taking communication to a whole new level, and a welcoming level, considering that really nothing has changed much from the walkie-talkie days, or two-way radio, or I had a CB radio when I was I don't know, 40 years ago, whatever. So yeah, this is where communication is going next, and it's even more effective, obviously, than cell phones, I would think, and the communication capabilities that cell phones might have. This is far beyond that.
Yeah, well, cell phones, a lot of times what we see is the walkie-talkies aren't working, so we fall back to using our cell phones, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times those are our personal devices. They create distractions and may not be a great look if one of our members walks in the clubhouse and they see, staff members in the pro shop using cell phones. They're probably doing work, but the look to a member could be different. And the durability, the limitation in cellular provider. So there's a lot there on why, Relay is a great option over cell phones as well as walkie-talkies.
Got it. Mike, thank you very much. I want to leave everybody with just one last thing, as we thank Mike, and hope that people will take a look at Relay. Our members will take a look at Relay. I know that you were involved at MCOR. I hope to see you in January also at the Golf Business Conference. Don't know how that's being set up, but hopefully we'll see you there too, and love to meet you face to face. But for everybody else, one last thing. My 9th grade civics teacher, Mr. Ryer, taught me that the one thing that makes all of us equal, all Americans equal, is we all have a vote. And with the general election coming up, I don't care whether you vote red or blue or purple or green, that doesn't matter. What matters is you vote. And your friends, your family, your employees should all be encouraged to register if they haven't already. Register and vote. That's what makes all Americans equal. That one thing we all have a vote. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks again, Mike, for the Tech Talks with Relay, and we'll see you all soon. Take care.